Hello there, and a very good Monday afternoon. Welcome along. We are live, friends. Ignore that last little bit. We're trying some new technology out here. New ways to go live on the Global Irish Radio platform. A little bit of a glitch, but we're live and on the air now. Welcome along to our live broadcast. The Daily Crack with me, Sean G, right here on Global Irish Radio. Happy Monday. We hope you're doing well and getting the better of those Monday blues. It's the Daily Crack show with me, Sean G. Little program we do round about this time, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, keeping you connected with Mother Ireland. All that you need to know to get you through your Irish day. We have it for you between now and 4. Hopefully you can stick around. studio@gir.ie if you ever feel the need to get in touch with us here at the program. Always good to hear from you. And we are on Global Irish Radio, streaming live on as many as 25 digital platforms. We're on Alexa and we're on the Global Irish Radio app as well. So download that one with you and take us with you wherever you go. And what a lovely day it is here in the west of Ireland, I can tell you. It's a lovely sunny day. The nice weather has returned. It is good blackberry weather, and just out for a walk today, we see that the berries are starting to turn black, nice and ripe. An abundance of fresh fruit right there on the ditches, the byways of Mayo, and I'm sure the same across other counties of Ireland. Lovely fresh berries. No no chemicals, only the wasps and the spiders to contend with to gather your fill. As I said, they're ripe for the picking, and they make great jam and pie and all of that nice stuff. Fresh berries, where would you find it? If you went into the organic berry store or fruit and vegetable store, you'd be paying through the nose for these things, and here they are right out there, right on our doorstep. So we know what we'll be doing later. Also very visible these days is the baby foxes venturing out from underground as they start to grow up and fend for themselves. So we're seeing a lot of foxes around rural Ireland as well. Lots of everybody out enjoying the sunshine, I imagine. So it is a lovely day, and wherever you are, we hope it's nice too. Met Air in our weather forecasting service here. They are predicting high pressure to dominate here in Ireland this week. Today will be warm and dry for most areas with good spells of sunshine. Highs 21 to 26 degrees. That's not too shabby. That's very nice. Tomorrow will remain dry with spells of sunshine with the highest temperatures of 22 to 28 degrees. Another nice day. The hottest of the weather will be in Leinster. And then Thursday will likely be another warm day or hot day with sunny spells and scattered showers turning heavy later in the day. Well, you knew it was going to come eventually, but there you go. It was a rather kind of wet weekend up until yesterday. Friday and Saturday kind of miserable, but yesterday was quite pleasant, and it looks like it's sunshine and blue skies, or at least fairly good sunny spells for the first part of the week. So you'll want to be getting out there and enjoying it. As I said, Daily Crack with me, Sean G, streaming live here on Global Irish Radio. And if you can't join the programme live, you have to leave for any reason, you can always check out thedailycrack.com. It's our companion website, and lots of links to all of the stuff that's going on here in Ireland. Links to the front pages of the newspapers, which we shall come to momentarily. Also links to all of the big stories. You can go behind the headlines and do a deep dive on any of the stories that tickle your fancy this Monday. Links to podcasts, all of that nice stuff, the top 10 podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, last night, the Ranter and I had the pleasure of sitting down for an hour or so for the latest edition of the Irish Ranter. So you can get that wherever you get your podcasts, or at theirishranter.com, or if you're up nice and late in these parts, it goes out live here on Global Irish Radio at midnight tonight. Well, when I say live, it'll be streaming live, but it was recorded yesterday. You get my drift? Yeah. Anyway, and we talk about a lot of things. In fact, a lot of complaints about the Ranter's co-host on yesterday's edition. I think I've gotten on the wrong side of his MAGA friends. So to find out more about that and the other topics, of course, we talk about a lot of things, including MAGA. But why Polish tourists, or why Americans are going to Poland over Ireland. Different stories of that. You'll have to check it out. I forget already what we talked about. But there were allegedly complaints about yours truly. And we had to deal with those as well. So that's the latest episode of the Irish Ranter. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Don't take it too serious. Now, with all of this nice weather, you know, people are out and about and they're spending money, and that seems to be the case because the number crunchers have given us some updates on spending for the month of July. Pub, restaurant and grocery spending were all up last month, but the amount splashed out on clothing was down. That's according to AIB, the Allied Irish Bank of Ireland, or whatever you call it, Allied Irish Bank. Their figures from their online transactions and the the tap card, the debit cards. They uploaded the data, they downloaded the reports, and this is what it's telling them. We were spending a lot more. Well, given that the weather is nice, why would you be buying clothes? It's taking clothes off you'd be doing in July when the weather was really warm. We had our a heat wave that almost the longest period of sunshine, beaten by one day by another heat wave back in whenever it was 2013, I think. But anyways, you get the picture. Warm July, people are out and about, and the people or the businesses that tended to benefit most from this warm weather were the pubs, the restaurants and the grocery stores, as people were probably out enjoying the outdoor dining and the cafes and the patios, that kind of stuff. So this is, of course, nationwide for Ireland, and as I say, spending down a wee bit on clothing and stuff like that. But no doubt, with us being in August now, that will compensate for the shortfall in July, and I suspect there'll be I think as people look towards returning back to school and the back to school season and all the shopping and the uniforms and all of that, that's always a nice shot in the arm, isn't it, for the retailers, the clothing retailers, that kind of thing. So it all balances out in the end. And I seen Conor Pope writing in one of the papers, I forget which paper he writes for now, but he was going through the numbers for Mayo. The spending in Mayo is probably off the charts. These numbers here are nationally, but in Mayo I suspect they're off the charts for the month of July, given what happened with our very successful football team. And he reckons the turnover in Mayo, pubs in Mayo, was up by about 1,000% following Mayo's win in Croke Park on the 26th of July. So a bonanza for the pubs in Mayo, which is nice to see, because Lord knows there's many a Sunday night and many a day in July when they're not doing so well. So good to see it, and business was booming for the bars. And I suspect that on the back of that, lots of people rediscovering, I was saying this recently, rediscovering pubs for the first time since maybe COVID, because it's clear by the numbers and the number of Irish pubs closing, particularly in towns like Castlebar, that a lot of people haven't been going to the pub in recent times, and that's why a lot of them it's a challenging time for pubs, and a lot of them have gone out of business. But this is a nice shot in the arm. I think it might and we see by the recruitment ads that they're all hiring. Well, they're not all hiring, but a bunch of them are hiring. Their help wanted signs are out, so that's a good sign for the pubs and the restaurants and the cafes. So a little bit of a boom from Mayo's time in the All-Ireland, and it continues. The business is still up, shall we put it that way? studio@gir.ie. As always, if you have any complaints about the Daily Crack or the Irish Ranter, you can send them directly to us here at globalirishradio.com, gir.ie. We are the Irish Diaspora Station, and great radio programmes all weekend long. We were all over the world. That's what we do here on Global Irish Radio, bringing you Irish radio programmes from Irish communities all around the world. Places like Boston, New York, Toronto, Sydney, Auckland, New Zealand, London. And thanks to Ger O'Brien for the past 2 hours on irishradio.org. Our colleagues at irishradio.org, we tap into their programming from time to time. We share programming. So Ger O'Brien filling in for Jerry Byrne this Monday. Congratulations, I should say, of course, to the Cork ladies. They won back the O'Duffy Cup yesterday at Croke Park. It was a thriller. I wasn't watching it, but I read about it. And in fact, I suppose payback for Galway denying them the 3 in a row last year, if you can think back that far. But anyway, there you go. Congratulations to the Cork ladies. There was only a point in it in the end, and it's rather interesting because I was having my daily Sunday constitution at Costa Coffee in there, minding my own business, and I see this owl fella, by the looks of it maybe a Mayo farmer, making his way into Costa Coffee, and the next thing I look up and he's at my table. How did you get here? Hello, sir. Anyway, he says, would you happen to know who won the Camogie final? And I said, oh, I forgot about that completely. I'll tell you what, I'll find out for you. And he says, do. And he says, I'll go off to the bathroom and I'll be back. And so off to the bathroom he goes. And, of course, I look it up and I see, I'm looking at it and I see the scoreline 214 to 17 points, and I looked and I thought it said final score, but maybe it just meant the Camogie final, and that's where I seen finals. So anyway, I wait for him to return from the bathroom, and he comes back over, and of course I say to him, Mr. Farmer. Well, I didn't call him Mr. Farmer. I said, I got some bad news for you, I'm afraid. And he says, what, Galway lost? I says, yeah, afraid so. And I gave him the scoreline, 214 to 17 points, and away he goes anyway, off to get his cappuccino. And the next thing I look at my computer screen, and it's 214 to 18 points. My goodness gracious me, did something happen? Is my computer broken? Did I not see that? What happened? Was there a late score? And before I could look again, I see it's 214 to 19 points. Yeah, I went up another point. Galway are now 1 point behind. And I'm like, what is going on here? The game isn't over at all. I've given this guy wrong information. So I'm watching, I'm waiting and trying to be sure that it's the final score, and eventually I managed to clarify that, yeah, final score, whistle blown. Check the updates on RTE, and I says, I better go up and tell this fella. So off I go and tell him, I said, sorry, I gave you wrong information there. It was actually the final score there, 214, 19 points. 214 to Cork, 19 points to Galway. I said Galway rallied in the end, and there was only a point in it. This is the hardest way to go out in an All-Ireland final. So back to my table I go, and I'm sitting there, and he comes back over to me and he says, do you know what? It's the same as last year. There was only a point in it last year, only it was the other way around, where Galway had beaten Cork by a point. So there you go. Payback yesterday. And the O'Duffy Cup making its way back to Cork. And I imagine, just like this night last week in Galway, there were big celebrations for the ladies. Wouldn't it be nice if Galway had done the double? But there you go. The spoils were shared this year, and the O'Duffy Cup going to Cork. But this time last week, the girls of Galway, the Gaelic footballers, the girls, were bringing the cup. They were bringing the cup back to Galway for the Gaelic football. This week it's the girls of Cork, and they're taking it down to Leeside for a big welcome home celebration there. And interestingly enough, I was looking at the numbers there. Quite a good attendance. Of course, in a ballpark or a football field the size of Croke Park, it probably doesn't, it looks half empty, which essentially it is, but 33,000, over 33,000, which is a good number for the Camogie final. Goals from Saoirse McCarthy and Orla Cahalan propelled Cork, of course, to the 31st All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship title in front of a record crowd of 33,419 people, says today's Irish Daily Star. So there you go, a good turnout, and it was a cracker of a game, went down to the wire in the sense that there was only 1 point. Had there been another minute or two, we could have been looking at a different result. Galway did rally towards the end there, but isn't that always better from an entertainment perspective? And just looking at the numbers last year, I think last year, so there's a good growth, and 33,000 for just 33,500 this year. It was about 28,000 last year, so it's up by about 5,000. If they can grow their numbers every year by that amount, 5,000, it won't be long before they are half full at Croke Park for the Camogie finals. But I was just thinking, wasn't it wonderful to see an old farmer coming into Costa Coffee on a Sunday afternoon? In olden days, of course, the old farmer probably would be drinking a pint of Guinness and having a short one at one of the many rural pubs that are now defunct. But anyway, more sophisticated, and it goes to show how progressive we are here in this country, and sophisticated, and here in Mayo especially, because he was in getting his cappuccino, and he wasn't in a pub drinking the the black stuff, which is the stereotype of the old farmer. But anyway, so I thought, highly sophisticated of you, Mr. Farmer. Maybe I'm overthinking it. And then I thought, isn't it lovely to see the interest in the ladies? And the other thing is, we're not a hurling or camogie county. We are a football county through and through. But wasn't it lovely to see the interest by a man of his generation, in the ladies and in the camogie? And I thought it was wonderful to see. And and then the fact that he came and asked me, I was like, well, I must look relatively approachable, given that he could have gone to any other table in the coffee shop. But he chose me. He chose wisely. There you go, friends. That's the All-Ireland Camogie final. So that's all of the GA stuff is pretty much, is it done and dusted? Fergus will tell me if it's not. But there you go. The O'Duffy Cup on its way to Cork this year. We wish them all the best, and there'll be big celebrations, no doubt, down there. dailycrack.com for all that you need to know to get you through your Irish day, your minimum dose of Irishness, if you will. The headlines, the the chitter chatter of the nation, the lighter side of the news, music as well. So if there's something you want to hear, don't be shy. studio@gir.ie. Check out the website as well, and check us out online. We're setting up, getting our socials set up, our Instagram page and our Facebook page. Give us a follow there as well, and on Podbean, give us a follow if you want to get updates on when the podcast drops. Now, one story I can tell you dominates this Monday, one that all of the papers here in Ireland agree deserves front page space or front page headline. The Irish Daily Star says, the headline there, "Guess who's back?" And of course, no prizes for guessing who is back. They're talking about crime boss Daniel Kinahan, of course. He's been dominating the news all weekend long. He finally arrived back in Dublin on the government jet late, about 7 or 8 o'clock yesterday. Home alone, says the Irish Daily Mirror, and that's the story about Daniel Kinahan's first night back on Irish soil, spent alone in an Irish prison. A little different to the lavish lifestyle that he was used to out in Dubai. And Kinahan in the dock, says the Irish The Herald, alongside a picture of the armed escort. And the Irish Daily Mail, "I know I'm not getting bail," says Daniel Kinahan to the judge and to court officials there. So, as I said, that's the big story for all of the papers this Monday, and it's been much talked about over the course of the weekend as well on the radio and the television. Daniel Kinahan spent last night in a cell in the country's maximum security prison following a landmark extradition and dramatic court appearance. We actually talk about this as well on the Irish Ranter, this week's edition of the Irish Ranter. People were wondering and querying and questioning why he was being flown on the brand new government jet. We recently traded in our old jet for a brand new one, $53 million worth. It's still got that new car smell, or that new plane smell, and one of the first people to get to fly in it is the the crime boss Daniel Kinahan. But why? Some say, why is he getting first class VIP private jet from Dubai back to Dublin? And it's really just for practical reasons. It's not to pamper him or anything of that nature. It just made more practical sense, we're told, in the sense that if they took one of the they have other aircraft at their disposal, but it would require at least 1 to 2 stopovers, a stop in Egypt and a stop somewhere else, and that would all be more problems for the Gardaí and law enforcement officials in this country. So they elected to put him onto the government jet, and he touched down at Bildonnell or wherever they touched down yesterday. He's 49 years old. Everybody was rushing to catch a picture of him. Some of them got a picture. Most of the papers have blurry pictures of him in the back of the police escort. There was 3 flashy BMWs with sirens and lights, and they flew through the streets of Dublin last night to bring him to the criminal courts, the courts of justice in Dublin. And he had an appearance there about 8:10 p.m. last night, and then was off to prison in Portlaoise. So that's the story of Daniel Kinahan, and of course there's a big security operation in place. The other thing is, and you're wondering maybe why, I've seen as well that he's going to have his own library and his own gym in Portlaoise, so not sure how long that will last, but he's going to be there, it looks like, for quite some time. And he won't be making too many appearances in Dublin, because getting him up there is a logistical nightmare, and the security and the rest of it that's involved. They had to get a special bomb-proof vehicle to transport him, and the ranter was wondering why that might be. And a lot of the experts say, in addition to the fact that he's a high value target and his own people might be trying to get him back and to release him or to ambush the police, the other thing is that there may be other people out to take him down as well, because he knows a lot of things. He knows where the bodies are buried. He knows the dirt on a lot of other of these big wigs in the criminal world, and where he'd spill the beans, maybe do a deal or something like that. Oftentimes when these guys are facing lengthy life sentences or lengthy periods of time in jail, and this guy they sometimes do a deal and they get a lighter sentence, and then they snitch on the others. So there'll be people that will be thinking from that perspective, we got to take them down. So for all of those reasons, that's why the security is so high, and it is very, very high, and around Portlaoise Prison as well. And the reason why the government jet was involved, to get him there as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and to get him locked up here on Irish soil. So that's the latest on Daniel Kinahan. The court, there'll be lots of court cases ahead and all of the rest of it, but he's back on Irish soil, something that's been really in the works, I suppose, for about 25 years. They've been after this guy for a long, long time, and he is now in police custody in this country. globalirishradio.com, GIR.ie, and great programmes coming your way throughout Monday, including at 6 o'clock tonight. It is the Glasgow programme with David Marks, 2 hours of country and Irish and new releases and all of that nice stuff. Tom will be back at 8 o'clock tonight with Tom's Irish Radio Show, live from Chicago, where they had, I don't know the results of it, but yesterday they had the football finals in Gaelic Park. And so a lot of people, it was a big day at Gaelic Park, wasn't it? And lots of people would have been out cheering on their teams. It's a great tradition there in Gaelic Park. They have great facilities. They've got great football fields and all of the rest of it. And the final of the GAA games being played there yesterday. Tom will be back tonight. Maybe he'll have the results for you if you want to tune into Tom's programme, or email tom@gir.ie. And then the Raggle Taggle. Finbar's back with his Raggle Taggle Old Ray recordings later on tonight as well. So lots of great programmes coming your way during the course of Monday. Check us out at globalirishradio.com and say the Irish Diaspora Station. Now, the festival, the Fleadh, wrapped up, and a very successful Fleadh at that. We've been talking about it. Actually, we were talking about this on the Ranter as well. But the wonderful thing about the Fleadh, and you think Belfast, it was a hugely successful outing for all involved. Shall we put it that way? And the first Fleadh Ceol na hÉireann ever to take place in Belfast wrapped up yesterday, but a lot of joy to a lot of people, and a lot of people talking about how successful, how wonderful it was, and great to see people out. There was about 5,000 musicians and dancers from 22 countries taking part in the 180 categories. So they have these dance competitions and music competitions and all of the rest of it. So a lot of people travelled from, as I say, 22 countries to be there for the festival, and it was the first time in Belfast. Over 800,000 people, they were saying on the papers last week. 95% increase in footfall attributed to the festival. So a bonanza for businesses in the town as well, or in the city of Belfast. And of course it's spread out all over the city. It's not just in one particular area. And Belfast is wonderful in the sense that they have a lot of pedestrianised areas, I gather. So great for when you have an influx of people like that. A lot of the streets pedestrianised. So very, 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 very successful Fleadh. That's I suppose the top and bottom of it. And we as I say, we often hear Belfast in the news, and we think of the dark times and all of the rest of it, and a lot of time spent in the aftermath of the Good Friday Agreement and all of that, bringing people together. And that's the wonderful thing about music and culture, and an event like the Fleadh. Culture can bring people together like politics cannot. And you had musicians from the different traditions. There were loyalists and unionists, and labels didn't matter. Only all that matters was good tunes, sweet music, and a good time. And that seems certainly to have been what was unfolding or happening in Belfast this past week. As I say, Micheál himself was up there last week, and he had a wonderful time mingling with the locals and checking out the musicians. King Charles and Camilla was there early in the week as well, and enjoying the music and the festivities. And so a wonderful time. And I noticed that the Taoiseach went off to check the Titanic Museum afterwards as well. So there you go. That's the Fleadh. It's done for another year. Believe it or not, it's back in Belfast next year. So anything that they didn't get right, they'll have a chance to put right next year. Or certainly looks like it'll be even bigger and better next year. I think they got everything right this year, because I haven't seen any bad headlines or any bad news out of it. And it was very, very positive feedback from all involved. So well done, Belfast. It's not a city you would necessarily associate with traditional Irish music or heritage or anything like that, but it's good to see. And it was a chance, to say, for Belfast to shine and show off, modern day Belfast. Seems like a wonderful city. Now, with one festival out of the way, another one kicks off, and there are a lot of pretty girls pictured in our papers today. I think you know what we're talking about. We are talking about the Roses. You're absolutely right. And this is a wonderful festival that really brings the diaspora together, doesn't it? Like none other when you think about it. And they all gather in Ireland for the days leading up to the Rose Festival in Tralee. It's a week-long event. They do different stops, and it all culminates with the televised event next Monday and Tuesday night, where the International Rose is revealed. But they have a great week of festivities, and the 2026 Rose Tralee tour got underway yesterday with all 32 International Roses coming together for the first time. So It was a meet and greet, and I can't help but notice that all of the girls dressed in pretty colours. There's green, there's yellow, there's pink, and then there's two girls out front sporting the maroon of Galway. Yes, you got it, it's the Galway Rose, and the lovely red, the rebel red of Cork. It's the Cork Rose. So they wore, for the day that was in it, their jerseys, their county jerseys, as you would expect. So there you go. So as I say, the event, it's a week-long event, and they meet up in Meath, and then they have a black tie ball affair. I think that's tonight maybe, and they have, it's kind of like their first formal get-together, and then they go around the country and have a fabulous time and explore and experience the best that Ireland has to offer. And these are all lovely young girls from all around the world, the Irish diaspora, the best that the Irish diaspora has to offer. It's a lovely tradition, and as I say, it continues to be very, very popular. Some people at one point said it was old-fashioned, we need to get rid of it. But in more recent times, it seems to be growing and increasing in its popularity. So that's nice to see. And of course, we'll be watching it on our tellies next. Well, there's not much more on the telly on a Monday or Tuesday night. But Dáithí O'Shea will be back. And is Catherine Thomas with them this year? I suspect she is. And it's 2 nights of, laughs and giggles and all of that nice stuff on your telly next week as we, the nation, get to meet the Roses. So it's a nice tradition, and it continues. 32 hopefuls, as we say. Last we checked, the Dublin Rose, the Kerry Rose, and the New York Rose were the favourites, according to the bookies. We don't have updated betting on that. We were too busy with the horse show and the Galway races last week to look at the girls of the Rose Tralee. But there you go. And speaking of the horse show, that wrapped up yesterday as well. So, this month it's slip sliding away. It's 10th of August already. Before you know it, it'll be August will be out of the way. We're into September and everyone's back to school and it's the dark nights and all the rest of it. But anyway, Mayo won again yesterday. What's he talking about now? Mayo was celebrating another victory this weekend as the British rider Rachel proudly donned the colours of the newly crowned All-Ireland champions while competing in the Dublin Horse Show. A nice picture of there on the back of the horse wearing the red and green, the traditional Mayo jersey, the green and red of Mayo. And she won in her in the prestigious Defender, I don't know how you pronounce this word, Defender Puissance, Puissanc. Anyway, she won, well, let us tell you, in 2:25 she made history for clearing 2.15 metres wall to win the prestigious Defender Puissance title, becoming the first woman in 60 years to claim that prize. Well, she was back again this year, and it must have been the Mayo jersey because she had success again this year. Her achievement is all the more noteworthy given the 21-year-old had never attended nor competed at the Dublin Horse Show prior to last year. She was back in Dublin set to defend her title this weekend, and the British rider proved a popular competitor with those at the RDS as the British rider had her Mayo jersey on. So that went down well with the crowd. The horse must have liked it well because the horse performed very, very well, and she finished joint first to share the Defender Puissance. Fact checker Fergus, I need your help here with this word. Puissance, Puissance, with Jordan Coyle was the joint winner there, and his cherished 17-year-old Aristov in what was his final career class before retirement. So that was nice there. Joint wins there for the girl in the Mayo jersey and your man it was his last competition for that particular horse. So, and a lovely picture of Rachel with a bunch of the other youngsters in all of their, their jockey outfits, very colourful. They're a bit like the Roses, except they're jockeys and they're much smaller. But anyway, there you go. There you go. That's the Dublin Horse Show. It's always very, very popular, and again going from strength to strength, and they had a very successful few days as well. And we told you who won the best dressed lady, didn't we, on Friday? Somebody going home with 10,000 in their back pocket. Alrighty, let us see what is going on here. Of course, yes, I was talking about the Fleadh, wasn't I? I was talking about the Fleadh and how successful it was, and people are already looking forward to next year. Yes, they are indeed, and why wouldn't they be? Because, it was a good time, and there was good traditional Irish music all over the city. And there was one little thing. The organisers of the Fleadh, they have come out and they have issued a statement. Yes, a statement. They've issued a statement in support of a food truck that was caught playing rebel songs. You know those rebel songs that we used to hear all the time on the radio, the telly, everywhere you looked? Well, anyway, there's a food truck, and food trucks are very, very popular these days. And boy, the standard of food that you get at these food trucks is off the charts at times. But anyways, you know, it was a bonanza for all the small businesses, the restaurants, the bars, and the food trucks. But one food truck was caught playing rebel songs. The Fleadh have come out and they have issued a statement. And the statement reads, "Every man must stand behind the man behind the fryer."
Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man must stand behind the men behind the wire. Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man must stand behind the men behind the wire. Through the narrow streets of Belfast in the dark of early morn, British soldiers came marauding, wrecking people's homes with scorn. Heedless of the crying children, dragging fathers from their beds, beating sons while helpless mothers watched the blood pour from their heads. Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man must stand behind the men behind the wire. Not for them the judge or jury, nor indeed a trial at all. Being Irish means you're guilty, so we're guilty one and all. Round the world the truth will echo, Cromwell's men are here again. England's name again is sullied in the eyes of honest men. Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man must stand behind the men behind the wire. Proudly march behind our banner, firmly stand behind our men. We will have them free to help us build a nation once again. On the people, step together, proudly, firmly on your way. Never fear and never falter till the boys come home to stay. Armoured cars and tanks and guns came to take away our sons, but every man must stand behind the men behind the wire. Yes, every man must stand behind the men behind the wire. Every man must stand behind the men behind the wire.
Hello, all you Global Irish Radio listeners out there, wherever you may be. It's myself, Finbar, here in beautiful northern Colorado, inviting you along to the Reigal Teigal Celtic Folk Show, streaming here live every Monday and Friday evening at 10 p.m. Irish time, where you're guaranteed to hear some rare old recordings from the old country and beyond. And it's all here on globalirishradio.com, the home of the Reigal Teigal. Listen to the Reigal Teigal on Global Irish Radio.
Yes, friends, another chance to catch this week's Reigal Teigal tonight, 10 o'clock here on Global Irish Radio. Not to be missed, older recordings. You're going to enjoy it. Now, you're listening to the Daily Crack with me, Sean G, here on Global Irish Radio. Mark your calendars. Do you still have a calendar? Mark your cell phones. Mondays, Fridays and Wednesdays. That is our summer schedule. The boss let us off lightly for the month of August. Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. 3 to 4 o'clock with all the latest happenings from this neck of the woods. And wherever you are around the world, if it's your first time with us, a special welcome to you. If you're a returning guest, welcome back. Kettle's on. Pour yourself a cuppa. Anyway, there was a big party over the weekend in Monaco. I didn't know he was still alive, but turns out he is still alive, and he's alive and kicking well at that. We're talking about Michael Smurfit, one of our, I suppose, a big name in the world of business back in the 80s, 90s anyway, 70s, 80s, 90s. Of, the packaging company, the packaging business. At a time when we weren't really well known for, I suppose, big business here in this country, Michael Smurfit was making millions. But anyway, he marked his 90th birthday in typically lavish style this weekend with around 150 friends at his high-profile his digs in Monaco. I think he's out there for tax purposes. Fergus will be able to clarify that for us. A lot of these bigwigs that don't like the Irish tax system, they set up residency in Monaco. And I think I could be wrong, but I think that might well be why he's there. One of his pals that was also at the soiree was Flatley, Michael Flatley, and he's a resident out there as well, I think, isn't he? But anyway, the gathering took place on Friday evening at the 5-star hotel, Hotel de Paris, Monte Carlo, with a number of well-known Irish figures reportedly making the trip for the occasion. A lot of the usual suspects, the big wigs of business here in this country, the likes of Dermot Desmond, Dennis O'Brien, were all said to be among those in attendance, while even Prince Albert of Monaco was said to have attended a special, he was there as well, so he had lots of pals, well-to-do pals in attendance for this 90th birthday. And when other people are at home praying for a happy death, he's out celebrating in lavish style. You gotta love it. His long-term Russian girlfriend was there as well. He's 90 and he has a girlfriend. Good man. That's Michael Smurfett. So yeah, the Russian girlfriend was there as well. She's over 30 years younger than him and was also in attendance. He had probably had to go to bed early, but she'd be able to stay up a little bit later, no doubt. As I said, Flatley was there as well. And John Fitzpatrick, the famed Irish hotelier from New York, he made the trip over. There was Phil Hogan, who is a former Fine Gael minister and EU commissioner. So, you know, kind of the who's who of the business world, and some high-ranking politicians as well, or former politicians. So there you go. That was your man Smurfett, and a big gathering. I actually met Smurfett once upon a time. My very first assignment as a trainee in the world of the hotel, the trainee placement in Hotel Europe in Killarney, which is a 5-star hotel. We did our first summer of training to get into the business of hotel management through our college placement, and what a fantastic property overlooking the lakes of Killarney, and still going strong today. In fact, that year when I was there, the Irish Open was being held. It's going to be in Doonbeg this year, and all the famous golfers and Mr. President will be in attendance. But that year it was in Killarney, and a beautiful part of the world. Anybody that hasn't been to Killarney, you know, it's overlooking the lakes of Killarney. Lovely 5-star property. It's like something from a Swiss resort. But anyway, lovely place. And Smurfett's company was having their annual dinner, whatever they call it, their annual general meeting. That's what it's called. And they were having the meeting down there, and they were having the dinner that night as well. And so we as youngsters were there. They actually let us into the room with them. But anyway, I remember from it, I remember that we were making a big fuss about him, and you didn't really talk to him unless he spoke to you. And the bottles of wine, I was charged with pouring the wine. Not sure why, given the price of the wine. The wine cost £230 a bottle of red wine. It was in one of those little baskets where it's lying on its side because there's so much sediment in the wine, a measure of, I suppose, how good or how aged the wine is. So anyway, that was my Michael Smurfett story. He's 19 years, so when I seen the story of him celebrating his birthday and the lavish party, it reminded me of the lavish annual general meeting and the dinner that night, where they had entertainment by the late Neil Tobin, I believe it was. Or he was there entertaining somebody in the hotel. Anyway, we also got to meet Bill O'Hurley, who was there, the late Bill O'Hurley as well. So I met many nice people. Smurfett wasn't that nice, I have to tell you. No, he wasn't that nice. But anyway, happy birthday to Smurfett, 90 years old. Alright, it's globalirishradio.com, and here in this part of the world, here across the country, we are getting ready, aren't we, for a big solar event that's happening, the eclipse, and we have the latest update on that and where the best place is to watch it. Leo Enright was on the radio last week telling people that the Dingle Peninsula, staying with Kerry again, is probably the best spot to watch this upcoming solar event. If you can't be there, there's other places as well. It's rather interesting in the sense that a lot of different counties are hosting events to view the eclipse. So let's see what the latest is. A weather expert has said that it will be hit and miss for those hoping to catch this solar eclipse this week. Had it been last night, it would have been wonderful. Had it been tonight, it would be wonderful. But it looks like maybe some cloud moving in on August the 12th. So, as I said, Ireland, if you're not familiar with the eclipse, it's our first solar eclipse since 1999, and it's all going to happen on, is it Wednesday night, Margaret's birthday, August the 12th, when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun. So it's a big deal if you're if you're a space geek, or even if you're not. But anyway, the movement will mean most, but not all, of the sun's light will be blocked. So most of it will be blocked. Don't be looking up at it with the naked eye, because you could do some serious damage to your eyes, apparently. and there's a warning going out to watch out. Always the scammers are out, no matter what's going on. But anyway, people are being warned to make sure that if they're buying these, because always just before something like this happens, as when there's an eclipse, there are people trying to cash in on it any way they can, and they have these what would be regarded as fake glasses or solar eclipse glasses to watch the event. And of course they don't give you any protection at all because they're not real, and they're just trying to get money, and they're appearing everywhere online and stuff like that. So the advice is to stick with independent opticians or recognized brand names when it comes to sourcing these glasses, so that you don't do any damage to your eyes and that you can see clearly afterwards. Anyway, Carlo Weather's Alan O'Reilly has given the lowdown for the coming days, revealing that the high-resolution cloud forecast charts, they only go as far as 4 p.m. on Wednesday. So he said, it's too early to tell. So essentially hit or miss, but there is some rain showers promised for Thursday, so there might be some cloud cover. Different parts of the country have different things happening to coincide. There are watch parties. Here are some of the big events around the country. And in Dublin, the capital will see roughly 94% coverage, they expect. The Irish Astronomical Society is hosting a free public viewing at the Phoenix Park Visitor Centre there in Dublin. Let's see, in Munster, if you're not at the Dingle Peninsula, the Munster Technological University, MTU, has declared Cork the nation's best positioned major city, expecting 96% coverage. Elsewhere in the country, Dundalk's Forrester Hall in Louth is hosting a free family watch party at 5:45 p.m. And in Galway, it's an IT solar eclipse party at the Portershed from 5:30 p.m. In Mayo, it's at the Ballycroy Visitor Centre at Wild Navan National Park, and they're hosting a viewing event there as well. So as you can see, lots of different counties and places getting in on the action for this solar event on Wednesday, August the 12th. And too early to tell just how visible it will be, but if you are getting those glasses, make sure you don't get the scam ones or the bad ones that don't offer any protection. And looks like it's if you are down in the Dingle Peninsula, where Leo Enright reckons the money shot would be the one that has Skellig Michael in the foreground and the eclipse off in the back to that. You can take that one all the way to the bank with you. But there you go. We'll keep you posted on any updates or anything of that nature with regards to the solar eclipse. It's the first one since 1999. Lots of people will be out watching it here from the top of the hill. See what we can see at about, what time is it? That's a very good question. You can't be out all night now, can you? But it's actually quite early on in the evening. Dublin viewers will catch the eclipse starting at around 6:09 p.m. So that's really early in the evening, reaching its greatest extent at approximately 7:10 p.m. when about 94% of the sun will be blocked. So that's interesting. And the whole thing will finish up at around 8:03 p.m. So you can be still in time to catch the 9 o'clock news and see it for real on the television. There you go. That's the eclipse taking place later this week. Now, if you're speaking of telly and the rest of it, if you're looking for something to watch on the old TV tonight, we recommend a nice documentary with the musician Donal Lunny. This documentary takes a look at one of Ireland's outstanding artists, and Nuala O'Connor presents it. It's the first film account of Donal Lunny's life, revealing a peerless contribution to culture and music throughout major cultural, political and historic changes both in Ireland and globally. You know him well. He's one of the most recognised names in, traditional music. A founding member of Planxty, the Bothy Band and Moving Hearts, Lunny also helped revive and transform traditional and folk music. He also created captivating scores for TV dramas and documentaries, plus several films, among them the internationally acclaimed This Is My Father, starring Aidan Quinn and James Caan. And Lunny also shared a son with fellow musical icon, the late Sinead O'Connor. So they had a bit of a thing going on for a while, and they had a child together. The exquisite portrayal, there's also a feature which puts the spotlight on his reunion with Christy Moore as well. Both of them would have been in Planxty, as you Well, no. So there you go. Nice documentary tonight. 9:35 on RTE1 if you want to check it out. Sounds like it's going to be good, and it'll be on the player as well after that. Another great traditional Irish musician is Martin Hayes. Now, Martin Hayes, sure, we know him from our time out in Chicago. He spent a lot of time out in Chicago, and I was pleasantly surprised listening to Brendan O'Connor over the course of the weekend. He had him on as one of his guests. They do this kind of desert island thing where they talk to him and they play his 5 picks in music, one of which was the Yellow Submarine and stuff like that. He kind of shied away from the traditional stuff and went for the songs and stuff. But it was a nice piece, and if you like the music of Martin Hayes and you like the man from East Clare, I think he's from, of course, you know, he did the sessions out in Chicago for a long, long time. So he was on with Brendan O'Connor, and that is available to listen back on Spotify as well. Thought you might like to know that. Well, we shall take a quick commercial break here. We will be right back, and what have we got for you? Oh, we have some Saw Doctors news that you won't want to miss.
Global Irish Radio is excited to partner with 950 WROL AM, the Spirit of Boston, to bring you portions of the Irish Hit Parade, providing the soundtrack to your weekend. Join Paul Sullivan on Saturdays 3 to 7 p.m. Irish time and famous Seamus Mulligan on Sundays 7 to 10 p.m. for a feast of Irish music. Streaming live from Boston right here on globalirishradio.com.
You're listening to Sean G on Global Irish Radio.
Good deeds are great things, and a single good deed can grow into a forest of kindness. At treedeeds.com, you can dedicate a tree in someone's honour and make a lasting impact on the planet. Each tree is deeded and comes with a personalised certificate, perfect for birthdays, holidays, memorials, or just because. Celebrate life, give back to nature, and leave a legacy that grows. Visit treedeeds.com today. That's treedeeds.com. Rooted in Ireland, gifted worldwide. Yes, indeed, my friends. treedeeds.com. Trees for every occasion. It's the Daily Crack with me, Sean G, here on Global Irish Radio, coming at you live, recording the show live each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 to 4 o'clock. All the latest happenings from Mother Ireland, and a story from over the weekend or towards the end of last week that got some, I suppose, a little bit of publicity over the course of the weekend in the Sunday papers, was that David and Goliath battle that Supermax, the Irish fast food chain, is engaged in with McDonald's. And McDonald's, they're big and they try and stamp out their competition, but your man McDonough, I forget his first name, he's the founder of Supermax, and he takes them to court from time to time for their attempts to squash him. Fast food chain Supermax has won the latest round of the battle of the burgers with its rival McDonald's, and it's now set to expand into the lucrative UK market. So up until now, they were trying to, on the basis of the Supermax trademark, they protested it in the UK when he went to file his trademark protection and stuff. And we know all about that from our time here at Global Irish Radio, and trying to be squashed by a big British broadcasting outfit that, they intimidate you and they send all the threats your way. And then at the last minute, well, sometimes they back down, sometimes they don't. But of course, this ended up in the courts, and McDonough and Supermax fought them all the way, and they got a win, which means that they'll now be able to expand into the UK market. So you'll be able to get your snack box and that kind of stuff, and whatever it is they do, chicken curry, the usual delicious food that tastes great after a feed of drink, will now be available in fast food outlets across the UK. They did not, by the way, the ruling only affects expansion into the UK. They didn't get clearance to expand right into Europe. But from McDonald's or from Supermax perspective, they're happy enough with that for now, because they reckon the market that they want to tap into is, of course, the UK, and that's where their product and where their business is likely to do best. But there you go, another win for Supermax this past week. So we like to see the little guy do well. We were telling you that, what's his name, Jamal White, longlisted for the Booker's Prize. It's good news for him, because the nomination of his book has already seen sales of the new book skyrocket, according to shops across the country. The name of the book is All Them Dogs. It was included on the long list for the honour, and the winner, which will be revealed in November, so we'll have to wait we'll have to wait a little longer to find out if he actually wins or shortlist. Was he on the long list? And it's described by himself, that is Jamal White, as a literary gangland thriller. The likes of the kind of stuff for the life of Daniel Kinahan, that kind of stuff. He's only a young fella, and he used to be in the tattoo shop business, and he's, as I say, got all the tattoos to prove that. But his book is doing really well, and that's why it's good to get longlisted for these prizes, because it means ka-ching. People want to read the book, and that's exactly what's happening for Jamal White. I think he's about 29 years old or something. I could be wrong on that, but it's good that people are picking up the book, and he's going to make money out of it, even if he doesn't win. Of course, we hope he does win. And I was listening on the radio this morning in the little piece where they do on Morning Ireland what it says in the papers, and we have that linked to you, or you can listen to it as well at thedailycrack.com. Just click on listen, what it says in the papers. But a lot of bookshops across Ireland, the likes of Kinney's bookshop in Galway, are inundated with massive online book orders. And you wonder, what's that all about? Who's buying these books? And Kinney's bookshop are saying they're getting orders for like 5,000 books and stuff like that. And turns out they do business with universities and different outfits overseas, but this is kind of unprecedented. And he was checking with his colleagues in independent bookstores in Germany and places like that, and they're also experiencing this surge in online orders, people buying up all these titles of books, which is great news for the bookstores and the independent bookstores, because it's a challenging time for them. But turns out when they looked further into it, it's these tech companies and OpenAI, and what they're doing is they're buying all these books and they're ripping them open and they're scanning and uploading all of the a mountain of information. They're basically getting all this work, and you wonder why they're building all these data centers. It's because the work and investment that goes into developing these AI systems, well, it's monumental, and that's what they're doing. They're buying up all these books, so all of this stuff will be, AI will be able to access it in seconds. So that's what that's all about, if you've heard about that story. Now, I was telling you about the Saw Doctors, some news from the Saw Doctors, and especially if you're here in Mayo, because the Saw Doctors are, they have announced a date. Ollie Jennings, their manager, sends out an email today and tells us that they'll be in Castlebar, the Traveller's Friend Hotel. And you recall there was efforts to have them perform at the Homecoming for Sam Maguire back in July at the end of the month, but Davey was away on holidays, and there was a lot of other stuff going on, and the top and bottom of it was they couldn't be in Castlebar to sing the Green and Red of Mayo when the Mayo team arrived back, much and all as they'd love to have been here. So what they pledged was to come back and do another date, and that's exactly what they're doing. And the 5th of September, I believe, they will be performing at the Traveller's Friend, and tickets will go on sale for Saw Doctors fan club members on Wednesday, and then general release, I think, on Friday. So if you want to get to see the Saw Doctors in Mayo, and it's kind of a thank you as well to the Saw Doctors, or to Mayo and the team and the supporters for getting them back in the top of the charts. They've been doing exceptionally well with that song, The Green and Red of Mayo, and to win just once in the N17, and much of it is on the back of Mayo's success in the All-Ireland. So it's going to be a massive night of the Saw Doctors at the Traveller's Friend Hotel on the 5th of September, so check out that one. And Ollie also tells us that they're putting down new tracks, and they'll be spending a lot of time. They've done a lot of tour dates, but they're taking their foot off the gas in terms of the live performances coming into the winter time, because they're back in the studio, and I think they've about 8 tracks put down already, and another studio session, and they may have it nailed. So expect brand new music from the Saw Doctors in the early part of 2027, and of course a lot of tour dates to follow as well. So things going really well, and if that's not enough, we have more news. Because coming soon to a theatre near you, it's the Saw Doctors, the musical. Yeah, this is real. As the Green and Red of Mayo exploded into the Irish charts this summer, hitting number 1 on Spotify, it seemed the entire country had adopted the Saw Doctors anthem for Mayo GAA. Anyway, the current appeal across all generations provides the perfect backdrop for a musical theatre show in Galway about the life and times of the band. So basically, Ollie Moran sat down and he wrote basically this musical that incorporates all of the big songs. The musical itself will be called Shamtown, and it's a blend of stories, memories and songs from the late 1980s until the early 1990s. So the heydays, the golden days the golden era of the Saw Doctors. It takes its name, of course, from the affectionate slang word for tune, Shamtown. That is a hometown of the Saw Doctors, and it's, we're told, a nostalgic roller coaster. So people are very excited about this, and it's going to do its first performance, I think, in November at the famed McLally Theatre. And 18 dates. They've been piloting some of the shows and getting great reviews out of it. And it sounds like they're onto a winner here, because the 18 or however many dates they've announced for November, they've all sold out in Galway. So, this is probably going to go on general release, in the sense that they'll tour it all around Ireland, maybe internationally. But there you go. It's Saw Doctors, the musical. Memories, stories and music from the Saw Doctors. And opening, I think, in November, sometime in November. 18 initial dates, but expect more, because people just can't get enough of the Saw Doctors. It's real. And finally, Margaret's pick of the day is an exercise tip to keep you fit and healthy, because we want you to be around for a long, long time. And she tells us that doing even just a few minutes of vigorous exercise every day can reduce the risk of cancer by 15%. That's according to a little piece that she came across in today's Irish Daily Star. Experts found that swapping exercise for more sedentary behaviour, such as watching TV and sitting at a desk, drives up the risk of cancer. So don't be sitting around watching the telly or sitting on your tablet, scrolling through your tablet all day. Get out and do a little bit of exercise. They also warned that people who have been active during their lives should do all they can to maintain it, because it's a case of use it or lose it, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So even, small little, sessions of exercise, or do what Mary Ellen has been teaching me how to do, the Japanese style walking, which is hard to do. Sounds easy, mind you. 3 hours of fast-paced walking. You walk at a very fast pace for 3 minutes. It increases the heart rate, and walk at a speed that's barely capable of holding a conversation. That's how fast you should be pushing yourself, in other words. And you do that for 3 minutes straight, and then you slow it down for 3 minutes, and you go back to so you speed it up, slow it down, all of that nice stuff. And that is great for your health as well. But there you go. You see, even the smallest little bit of vigorous exercise throughout the day reduces the risk of cancer by 15%. So we want you healthy, and we want you fit and healthy for a long time to come. So try and make the effort there. Margaret does it every day. And, as I say, use it or lose it. And it's great to get out there and just take in the outdoors. Nice, fast-paced walk will do it. And finally, for now, Irish people, since we're talking about health and the rest, with the latest number crunchers, or stats in terms of smoking, Irish people are less likely to smoke than their other European counterparts, but the proportion of adults here who use tobacco products on a daily basis is increasing. So this is a rather interesting report on smoking levels in the EU. It's a new report by the European Commission, shows that Ireland has the second lowest consumption rate of tobacco products in the EU, with just 11.7% of Irish people aged 16 and over smoking daily last year. However, here's a little sting in the tail. The proportion of Irish people who are daily smokers has actually increased since 2002, when the rate was 9.2%, and at that point we were the lowest consumer of tobacco products in the EU. So we've moved into second place, but we're still, for a country like Ireland, where people thought the smoking ban would never work, the first country to institute the smoking ban in public places, and boy, did it ever work, and every country in the world followed suit. So there you go, it all started first in this little country of ours. And then you wonder about these vapes. They're the big problem, aren't they? And because they make smoking a little bit more, I suppose, they remove the stigma around it, and they make it easier to do, and you don't have to contend with the stink or the stench that the cigarettes leave. So they're bad news, and nobody really knows just how good or bad. Well, they're not good for you, but nobody really knows how bad they are for you, but one suspects not good. But they've made smoking or vaping cool again, which is not a good thing, and maybe they need to do something about that. But anyway, friends, you've been listening to the Daily Crack with myself, Sean G, here on Global Irish Radio. Check us out, dailycrack.com, and we'll be leaving you now until Wednesday. We'll be back Wednesday with more great crack. Before we go, we have a special request in from our good friend out there in Chicago, Johnny Foley, and he asked us to play a special song this Monday, Take Me Home to Mayo, for the late Bill Hosty. And this comes from all of the members, past and present, and all of the officers of the Leuna local It's basically a union, the Labourers International Union of North America. LIUNA, I think is maybe how you pronounce it. Union 4, or Local Number 4, as from all of his pals. That's the late Bill Hosty, and his obituary notice. We've linked it to the Paddy calendar in Chicago. Go to paddyfinder.com and click on the death notices. He was a Mayo man, and as I say, Johnny Foley, a Waterford man, but a pal of his and a colleague of his for many years in Chicago, wanted us to remember him today with a great Mayo song. So taking us out today, it's the Dublin City Ramblers. Take Me Home to Mayo, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Take me home to Mayo, across the Irish Sea, home to dear old Mayo, where once I roamed so free. Take me home to Mayo, there let my body lie. Home at last in Mayo, beneath an Irish sky. My name is Michael Goffin, from Ballina I came, and I saw my people suffering, and swore to break the chain. I raised the flag in England, prepared to fight or die. Far away from Mayo, beneath an Irish sky. Take me home to Mayo, across the Irish Sea, home to dear old Mayo, where once I roamed so free. Take me home to Mayo, there let my body lie. Home at last in Mayo, beneath an Irish sky. My body cold and hungry, in Parkhurst jail I lie. For the loving of my country, on hunger strike I'll die. I have but one last longing, and I'll pray you'll not deny. That's to bury me in Mayo, beneath an Irish sky. Take me home to Mayo, across the Irish Sea, home to dear old Mayo, where once I roamed so free. Take me home to Mayo, there let my body lie. Home at last in Mayo, beneath an Irish sky.